Find the pain of the business, give them the solution, and then you can upsell the other features once they get comfortable with the one feature. That's how I'm leading. That's what I'm doing, is leading into it that way.
Hey everyone, I'm excited to bring you a high-level breakthrough. Essentially, the breakthroughs are a case study program we launched not too long ago. And I'm so excited for this one because first of all, we came out here to Atlanta, Georgia, beautiful city, beautiful place. And we have a young man named Wade Lester. And I say that sarcastically because he's a seasoned entrepreneur. And we're going to dive right into Wade's business and just kind of hear a bit about his story. I'm excited for all of you to learn about him. Wade, first of all, thanks for saying yes to us.
Well, thanks for flying to Atlanta and doing all this and come see me. This is awesome. This is my first time doing this. I love it.
That's right. This is your first podcast that you had said you have ever done. How does it feel? How does it feel?
It feels great. A little nervous, but it's also honored you guys came down and do this. I love it.
Wade, it's an honor that you said yes. I know you've been part of our community for many years. I've seen your name in our Facebook groups, our Go Collab groups, if I'm not mistaken, and boards, and you've been to a lot of our in-person events as well. So thank you for all that you do in our community.
Yes, thank you. We love High Level. It's been great.
Wade, help us understand who Wade Lester is.
Okay. Well, Wade Lester lives here in Atlanta, Georgia. 51 years old. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 21 or 22, roughly been years and years ago. Grew up here in Marietta. My mom raised me here in Marietta, and later on in life, I moved to my dad's house in Fayette County, Georgia, and went to high school in Fayette County. Out of high school, I tried college for a little bit and just was really ready to get my career path going. So me and my best friend, we went to work for a lawn sprinkler company, and I think we worked there 2 weeks. And we were like, we can do this.
So that was your first business, right?
That was my first
irrigation business. Yeah. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So we just started. We're like, we can do this on our own. And I remember me and my best friend Brian sitting down one evening with a big whiteboard and like, we're excited, right? Just ready to go be in business for ourselves. And we started mapping out what we were going to do. And just like with anytime you start anything, you got to have customers. And I'm thinking we just I believe we started putting out flyers and did all that stuff. We were young and started getting our first customers, and we ended up growing that business over 17 years, actually. I went through, my best friend Brian, at that time we did split up, and then I had another business partner, Eric, who we were in business the longest. That business grew. We learned a lot. We went to over 20 employees.
Wow.
Yeah.
So when you say irrigation, so what does that mean? I mean, I'm Texan, but
I'm
not as handy as most people.
Lawn sprinkler systems
Got it. So you install these, maintain them?
Yes.
Okay.
We started just installing them, just backbreaking labor. And, as technology evolved in that space, it went from shovels to equipment to then more, we went from what took 10 men could now do it in 2 men, So we grew that business anywhere from residential to commercial, large commercial projects and service and everything. So we grew a pretty good sized business over 17 years.
What made you want to start a business in general? Were you always an entrepreneurial minded person in school, or?
No, I just felt like school, I was bored in school, and just ready to get going. And I think for me, it's the challenge. Yeah. It's the challenge. Just having a new challenge every day. And when you're an entrepreneur and a business owner, that is every day. and it's something you just get used to. And at that point, I had a business partner, which was great, because when you have a business partner, there's good and bad. But I love having a business partner because you've always had somebody, it's like your best friend that you can pass ideas off of and get that confidence level and make decisions together. So yeah, it was a great, that was my school. That was my school. My first business in my first 17 years, that was my education.
So from the irrigation business, you and your business partner kind of parted ways. And then what happened? Like, did you start a second business? What was the transition there?
So we grew the business to where we leveraged out, as any business, you want to leverage out because you can't do it all. And not going to business school or learning into this stuff, like I said, trial and error, you learn by failure. And we learned that we could not do it all, so we ended up hiring, right? And the more we delegate, the more we hire, and the more it freed up our time. And so we started doing other things as we were doing that, and we got a little bit too diversified. We started building homes. We built some spec homes, and we started flipping homes, stuff like that. So we were doing a little bit of that. And then when my partner and I split up, we had also started a pool company. And so his passion, Eric, my good friend Eric, he started Innovative Pool and Spa, was the spa business, pool business, and Innovative Irrigation was our irrigation business. And he just had the passion of creativity and building. And I was more the numbers and the business guy. And so we split up, and he took that business, still owns it today. And I ended up selling Innovative Irrigation to a good friend of mine that I still help today.
Yeah.
But I transitioned to being a real estate agent because my whole family's in real estate. So it's in my blood.
Gotcha.
So I transitioned over 20 years ago to getting in real estate. And that was a very hard transition for me because I came out of the construction industry. So from working outside to coming indoors and being a little bit more polished was a big change for me. In my irrigation business, what I learned was we really never advertised after we got the branding, right? It was all reactive business.
Word of mouth.
Then when I kind of got into real estate, it was, why isn't my phone ringing? I actually have to start over. It was a complete start over. So got into real estate. Now,
and what year is this happening at this point?
I don't even remember the year. It's been about 20 years ago.
So late 90s.
Yeah, late 90s. Well, it's probably, I would say, probably 2000, maybe 2013.
Okay.
Yeah, 14 maybe, in that area. I can't remember when I actually got licensed versus when I was doing, like flipping and stuff. But anyway, that was a whole new experience, being an agent and learning all that stuff. And, I had to learn about marketing.
Yeah.
And
I was going to ask you, how did you start building a business from a laptop versus being outside with the irrigation stuff? So the real estate was the bridge where you had to learn marketing.
Yes. And, had to learn, it's just grit. Like you just have to do what you have to do and be social and get customers, whatever you have to do to get customers. And, but when I started real estate, I want to emphasize this, is that I was still running the irrigation business. I hadn't sold it yet. I had pivoted and I was doing both.
Wow.
So I am working transactions and I am running out in the field, checking on the crew, or I had a manager, but I'm doing everything. I mean, I'm just moving on the phone. And as just like, you could think, I burned out. Yeah. And you can't just do that many, those two things. And so ended up selling the business and getting into real estate full time, and love the real estate world. Been doing it a long time. I went straight to my first year as a top producer in our office. So, it's been a fun journey.
What I would love for you to kind of share is your discovery of HighLevel. How did you find HighLevel? Was that when you were still a real estate agent, or was that when you started doing like marketing activities as an agent? How did you find HighLevel?
So I actually found HighLevel through Quentin Newman. He is a high-leveler himself. He has Capri AI.
You had mentioned he is a family member.
Yes, he is my nephew. Yes, and he introduced me to HighLevel back in pre-SaaS. Was that 2020 or 2021?
Yeah, I think before 2021 was pre-SaaS, I would think.
So that's when I got involved with it, and just probably relate to everybody on the video. It can suck you in. Like there's just a whole lot of stuff, right? And so, yes, to answer your question, it was for the marketing aspect and the texting and the automation. How can I automate some of these processes? And with me and my brain, like to fix things and automate things. That's where a lot of us high levels are jumping right into the automations and stuff like that. So that's how I was introduced. Quentin introduced me to it, and it took and this probably relates to a lot of people too. It took me over a year to finally figure out, what am I going to do with this? I was using it as a tool.
Yeah.
And then when SaaS came out, that's when I discovered I can actually start a business with this.
Yeah.
But what business?
I also remember you telling me like your initial reaction to HighLevel, that it cannot be unlimited sub accounts. It can't,
yes.
You talk to Sean Clark, you're kind of inspecting from far whether this is real.
Yeah. So that was, I remember talking to Quentin when he says, you can have unlimited sub accounts. And I was like, this just doesn't make any sense. Like, I need to verify this. So I was on a call with one of the sales reps, and he had told me it was, unlimited. And he's like, well, it's not really unlimited. And then I think he was probably new and didn't understand everything. And so Sean called me, or I made a post in the group or something asking the question. Sean called me while he had his kids, he was at his kid's soccer game. And I was like, wow, I'm actually talking to Sean on the phone. I said, this is great and I love it. And so, just ever since then, it's just, I've been all in,
Yeah. So what are some things you solve with HighLevel in your business today? Like, help us kind of understand how you utilize it. I know there's 1,000 different things you can do with it.
So I'll start with how we used it as a real estate agent.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go into how my other business started. So as a real estate agent, if you use HighLevel independently, it can do it all. It's just a little overwhelming because, I use the analogy, and I use it every day. Sometimes you can't see the ketchup in the fridge when you open the door because there's so many features, right?
Yeah.
And but anything from texting to website automation, and the open API is an absolute game changer. I love the concept. I love the fact that you can pretty much, if you can think it, you can do it. You can add on a third party.
What is API for the folks that are watching and they're new? Like, I know you built an entire business off of APIs.
Yes.
So we'll get into the details, but give us the fundamental breakdown of what is that? What is middleware? Yeah.
So middleware is an API, application protocol interface. Is basically you can take data from one system and push it into another. So whenever an event happens, you can take all this data and push it into another system. And that is what has made an awesome development community, and all the third-party vendors. It's just created tons of opportunities for other businesses and entrepreneurs. And, seems to be that a lot of the companies are now going that direction.
Yeah.
Because not everybody can do it all. So you can empower everything with APIs.
Right. So how does it benefit you as a business? Like, help us kind of understand what you offer to your customers today.
Okay. So being in real estate and having a small team, we used Follow Up Boss as our main CRM. And with Follow Up Boss had limitations. And one of the main limitations was they did not have automated texting for automated outreach, which was almost a deal breaker for me. But I love the platform, and we'd been using the platform a long time. Well, Follow Up Boss also has an open API.
Gotcha.
So when I was just dabbling around, and I was like, I wonder if I can empower Follow Up Boss with HighLevel's features, and starting with the texting. And that's what we did. And so that's exactly how I said, well, I'm going to create a SaaS product, and that's where I'm going to start.
Okay.
And, we're only a little over 2 years into this right now. And for me, it was a business to start I was already in a community of people that knew me, and that was my niche. So we've been able to grow organically.
Yeah. And kind of help us understand the numbers a little bit. How many customers do you guys have, and how much money are you guys making? I know you guys are doing pretty well.
I think we're doing, pretty good for being just a little over 2 years, and we're learning, just like any new business, we're learning. We are just now right at around 300, and trying to, figure out which we've kind of created quite a few different applications. And so I think in this business, it's really hard to stay really laser focused and how not to get too many things going. But I guess last year, 25, we were right at 300 and I think 375, 380 gross revenue.
Yeah.
And then in 24, we were about 170.
Okay.
In the first year, we were like 60.
Yeah. So we'll break that down and the kind of the transitions that you guys went through. But before we go into the SaaS component, how did you get introduced to SaaS? You started an irrigation business, then went into real estate, then figured out the marketing behind the real estate activities. But what made you want to say, okay, I think I want to start a subscription-based revenue model?
Yeah. And I'll tell you that my irrigation business, the value of my business was not as much as like when people evaluate businesses, they evaluate it on predictable revenue. And I never knew that. And so everything we did in the irrigation business was kind of one and done.
Yeah.
And
it's feast or famine, hard work.
Yeah.
If you have sales, you'll survive.
Yeah. And then in real estate, it's kind of the same thing. It's you're going to win some and you're going to lose some, and you're going to win big and you could lose big too. And so there really wasn't a path of predictability. And so that has always been something that I've been really wanting to figure out, was building something that's predictable. And obviously subscription has more predictability than one sale. And, getting into the software space kind of all started when, personal story, my dad my dad and I both started a company called MortGenius, which was a mortgage software program back when I was really heavy into real estate. And he was a loan officer, so he knew all about lending and lending and loan officers, stuff like that in the mortgage business. And obviously, I'm his son. I've got his brain, very similar brains. We want to solve problems. So he built a system to where we would guide people to buy homes based on their budget, not the price, which is really the most important part, and so he built an algorithm system that would train or would coach buyers into taking their constraints of their, monthly and everything and how much they can afford. What will that buy? And then how to leverage that in the negotiations. And I remember having our first big real estate event. We'd finally got ready to launch, and we weren't ready. But this was back in the day, I don't remember what year it was, but we were printing discs. I was up all night printing discs and putting them in the little plastic thing and handing them out.
And this is for a software company.
This was, we were trying to launch MortGenius. And I remember you know how it is, you just kind of go. But that was right when the internet was taking off, when things were going from disk downloads to web-based. It was right in that transition. And after that, we kind of went back to the drawing board, and when you're building a business, it's hard not to be a perfectionist when you're a business owner. because, what's the saying? If it's perfect, or what the saying is, like it's never going to be perfect. So you have to get to market. And we just kept trying to make it perfect before we went to market. And unfortunately, my dad had gotten sick with cancer, and in 2013. And at that point, he had gotten sick and unfortunately passed away. But not being able to get that product to market, he was the engineer behind the whole product. I really knew nothing about how to unscramble and actually finish it, right? So that's always been left with me with, I want to finish, even if it's not the same product. We had a vision, we wanted a software company. And so that has really inspired me to really start a software company, but I'm not a software guy. And HighLevel has really made that possible for me. So that's kind of what drove me to try to start this business.
Yeah, and adversity often creates like a driving force. And I see that among entrepreneurs, and it sounds like what you just described. Like it seems like you're excited about SaaS because of the lessons you've learned with your dad and what he stood for. And of course, you don't have to print discs anymore.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
It changes so fast. Technology changes so fast.
Yeah. So let's go to how you launched your software company. Essentially, it's white label, and you guys did what are the numbers you guys did the first year? Let's break down year one.
So LeadEngage.com is our software company, or our SaaS, I would say. Basically, I wanted to empower Follow Up Boss with this middleware, and so we just kind of started building it with, this is when no-code tools came out, where a normal guy like me can actually try to make two things work together in a visual format. And so that's kind of how we started creating to see if it would actually work. And I'm still full-time in real estate, so I'm doing this at night.
Yeah.
Right? Doing this at night, working my full-time job, coming home and playing with this. And then just like probably everybody entrepreneurs start, it's doing the same thing. And got it to work and was like, wow, now just like with any product or service, you don't do anything without customers. So now how do we get the customers? Luckily, since I'm in the community with Follow Up Boss and stuff like that, and that was like, that needs to be my go-to.
Gotcha.
And so we just reached out to a few people and got few customers. Hey, would you try this? It's free. Let us know what you think. Will this work?
And you charge them?
Not the first people, I didn't. Okay. No, I mean, people love to try things out.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, before I charged people, I wanted to validate that it worked.
Yeah. It's almost like a beta group.
A beta group. Yeah. And our first year we did about $60,000 in revenue, and I had set a goal. My goal was to make sure that I cover overhead. And at that time, I only had my Angela, who's my assistant. I wanted to make sure that I covered her salary. And I literally told her that. I said, first goal number one, let's make sure we cover overhead and your salary, because that takes the burden off of me when real estate is up and down, up and down, up and down. So that's pretty much what we did the first year. And the first year we were still running on no code, which, I didn't calculate the cost of running the executions on a no-code application until you start scaling. And that's when we really had to pivot.
Yeah. So help us understand the pros and cons of no code versus code. And, there's a lot of stuff happening with AI now, a lot of vibe coding happening, right?
Yes.
So can we talk about how you started in that kind of lens, but eventually you ended up hiring your own software developer, an engineer. Now you have some full-time people that are working with you. Like help us kind of navigate through that.
So with a no code, it's kind of like the workflow builder inside of HighLevel. And you can actually just when this does this, do this. It's visual. So for the normal everyday guy like me, you can just put 2 and 2 together and draw it out visually. And you have that comfort of knowing that you can see what's happening. And those companies are great, like Make.com, Zapier, all of them, that do that. And now HighLevel does all that as well. It doesn't scale well when you are running, millions of executions in, minutes or whatever. So as we started processing data from Follow Up Boss to HighLevel, because it's through the API, then you have limitations. HighLevel will only receive so many executions per minute. They call the API limits. And typically the system that's sending the data has no restriction. They dump the data as fast as possible. The receiving end puts limits on it. So that becomes a balancing act of engineering that I had no idea, no clue. And so as we started scaling, I had no clue that I was going to have to hire a developer and actually engineer how to, because we hit a point to where everything was failing.
Yeah. See, so how did you manage that? Because year one, you already have a bunch of customers in the app. Then you had to restructure the back end.
Yes.
You probably lost a few nights of sleep.
I did. And a lot of apologies. And the fear, I tell you what, the fear of being a small business, and luckily I'm in the community, but the fear of upsetting a customer, and sometimes you have to, it's part of it. You have to expect it. But we had a big scare. I had a really big scare. This was probably one of the scariest moments in this business. Well, I had hired a developer out of college, and he was really good, but still learning. And we had set up our cloud project to take the code from a no code to code, which, to answer your question, there's a big difference. You're looking at visual versus a bunch of numbers and letters, and you don't know what's what. Only a developer does, right? So when we had transitioned, the customer doesn't know, right? We're just transitioning. They don't know what we're doing on the back end. But we hit some failures, and we had to call the customers and say, I'm sorry, your messages didn't get delivered, or, explain to them. We had, when I set up the Google Cloud, which I'm not a developer and I don't know all this stuff, but I'm learning. We did something wrong, and our account got hacked by a crypto miner somehow. Don't know how it happened. Something we had set up wrong, some security thing, whatever. Well, Google shut me down, like just lights out.
Wow.
And at this point, we probably had 150 customers that were relying on the platform. And
these are real estate people.
Yeah. And it was lights out. It was like apps off, contact support. And,
wow.
And if you're not a big player with Google, you're not just getting somebody on the phone. So I had to pay $5,000 to get somebody on the phone to get up-level support. And they went through it. They were very helpful. Long story short, there was something wrong. They fixed it, and there was a bad actor that had hacked the account.
Wow.
And anyway, long story short, we were down 4 days, maybe 5 days. At this point, we didn't know when we were coming back online. So yes, was not sleeping, was up at night. I had Quentin's team with DAS. I had my developer. We're all like, what do we do? And we actually, believe it or not, started rebuilding it from scratch.
Because you don't have a determined time of when you're going to come back up.
We didn't know what to do.
Wow.
So, and it's, this is a learning experience, right?
Right.
The backups and having a plan for all this is things you don't think about.
Status updates and help docs you think of.
Holy cow. So, and so I sent an apologetic email to my customers. And I remember getting the responses like, nobody was upset. They actually were like, some were, but a lot of them were understanding and knew me and knew what I was doing and knew that I was new and knew that I'm active in the community and working my tail off. And they were understanding. We were like a day and a half into rebuilding the app, and it came back online.
Wow.
So that was probably a moment for me that was like, okay, probably need to back up and, structure this a little bit more. So,
Yeah. So there are risks to the middleware
Yes.
play because you're dependent on others.
Mhm.
At the same time, how did you thrive pretty well in year 2? Like, it seems like you guys doubled the business in year 2.
Mhm. Yeah, I think just word of mouth. I mean, I would say for anybody getting in the space, like you have to pick your niche and pick, where you have the most presence. And being in real estate, I'm like, how can I leverage this? And being in the community, being active in the community, picking a community to be active in, and just kind of branding, going from there. I'm not a marketer, never been a marketer, don't even know how to market. So
Well, this is your first podcast. So
Yeah,
that
first
tells
podcast.
Me,
Yeah,
that tells
so-
me marketing is not the first thing. You're a builder.
Yeah, I'm a builder, and I'm a builder who needs to learn the marketing piece. And so being involved in the HighLevel community has been great because I've met the awesome people. And, you have to learn as an entrepreneur, you can't do it all yourself. You have to have people, and you have to have those relationships with people you can call on. And I just can't tell you the amount of people that have helped me out, when in need, and being able to call on them.
It's a unique community. That's one of the most proudest things for me is the type of community we built. It's not a competitive space. It's a collaborative space.
Yes.
And there's a big difference.
Yes.
Because we go further faster when everybody's collaborative together versus competing so much, right?
And that was my first mindset. I didn't know, years ago, it was all competing. And then as I matured and grew, it was like, it needs to be this way. Leading with value is what has been part of our success, is leading with value when it comes to that community, me being leading with value.
Yeah. And it matters with customers too, because when you send out your apologies and emails of just keeping them updated, like the type of response you got was based on the value you provided previously.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
And knowing me, because I was doing the demos, and, I'm still a full-time, I'm not full-time real estate agent, I'm part-time. So we're figuring that out. If I'm bringing on somebody to replace me, it's kind of in that middle right now. There's 3 levels of business. You make money when you're small. Usually you lose money in the middle, and you hit that 3rd tier. That's when you start, making money. So trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of benefits for getting in the SaaS space. In HighLevel, a lot, empowers entrepreneurs to be able to do that. And one of the big reasons for me, I didn't cover it earlier, was I've recently gotten engaged, and in Eileen, my fiance, lives in Swanee, and I live in Peachtree City area. So we're over an hour apart. And in the real estate business, your business is your community and people around. So if you leave that community, you pretty much start over. And so another huge benefit to me was being able to be anywhere in running the business.
Yeah.
So all these things, as I've gone through life and learning, it was like, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
So having a software business, excited for the future and figuring it all out.
I love it. And you stayed within real estate and just pivoted your business model and offers, and you're still present in the same community.
Still present in the community. In my real estate business, I'm very selective now, and I try to use other team members to handle certain clients. I'll only handle certain clients. I have to manage my time.
Right.
But it's how do you buy back your time?
Yeah.
That's the right now it's the balance.
Yeah.
And figuring all that out.
Makes sense. So let's talk about the second year. How much money did you guys make the second year? And I think you said you were 150 clients the first year, around 60 something grand.
No. That was the second year.
Yeah. Okay. That was the second year.
The first year was only like a half a year.
Got it. So then the third year, what happened in the third year?
So the third year, which was last year, I think we were 375, 380 gross, and around 300 customers. And everything we do right now is organic because of we're adding high level features to another CRM. And I think it's kind of a unique business model that we have, because I've kind of like, HighLevel has so many features, and with the open API, it's an opportunity to take those features and plug them into other companies that don't have it. And so it's a win-win.
Gotcha.
And that is kind of where we have found our spot. Now, since we have a white label and we do sell to real estate agents, that's our thing, a lot of customers already had HighLevel. And so what we found was that they were like, wait a minute, you're just white labeling HighLevel. We already have HighLevel. How can we get our HighLevel connected to Follow Up Boss? So we had such a demand for that app, we built that for high levelers to connect at a different
I remember
fee.
you saying at first you had told them you had to just switch over.
Yeah.
Then you kind of changed that mentality and said, you know what, keep your existing system. Let me just add this on. Can you walk us through that finding?
So at first I was like, no, I'm just going to, you're on your own. You got to use Zapier. But the way we did it, you can't be done with Zapier or anything like that. It's the way we did it with Follow Up Boss. And then I was like, I'm missing a whole market here. And, just like high levelers that are listening to this that have their own SaaS product and they're white labeling it, there's a lot to support. That's a huge thing that I didn't realize. When you start reselling an all-in-one, it's a all-in-one, a lot of customer confusion without support and without, and so that is where we were like, okay, we charge X for our white label because we have to support it. Yeah. And that requires, good support requires human people to talk to.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay,
what's your price point for your offers?
So we start at $149 per month.
Yeah.
And so that is just the texting bolt-on. So we do texting bolt-on to Follow Up Boss, review management, and we do the omni-channel chat. So we bring in WhatsApp, Instagram, and Facebook also into Follow Up Boss.
Okay.
And that is the $149. That price was set because of another competitor.
Gotcha.
And looking to go up on that. And then we have our automation plan that runs $197 a month. It's about to go to $249 at the end of the month. And all that does is give them the power of the automations. So Follow Up Boss has simple automations. HighLevel has advanced automations. So we kind of upsell that part.
Got it.
And then we have the all-in-one, which is everything. And that's $297, but we're raising that to $397 because of the support that it takes.
So wait a minute. Let me understand this. You're telling me you built a business that's grossing close to almost past 370 grand.
Right at 380, yeah.
With bolt-on, add-on services with HighLevel.
Yes.
That's insane.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping to, I think there's a much bigger market for it, and that's a whole nother path. Is any other entrepreneurs listening that want to get into business is like, there's a big path for empowering other platforms with HighLevel's features and combining the two.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't understand the power of these APIs and the integrations in general, right? And you're not a techie person, like you're not a software developer. You're a builder. You're creatively able to troubleshoot.
Yeah, I'm able to get it so far and have the vision, but not really understand all of it.
That's impressive. So what are other pivots or struggles you guys went through last year then? What are some challenges that you guys went through last year? Or how did you go from year 2 to year 3, and 4? What do you think skyrocketed you guys?
I think just branding. Like I said, we don't run any ads. I would say the biggest struggle would be customer confusion, giving them too many things at one time, trying to sell features And what I found was, after interviewing and losing customers to a competitor, was like, we have two competitors in this space. They offer one thing, that's automated texting. So to the real estate agent, who is our end user right now, I've had them tell me, I just want simple. I don't care about the bang for my buck. I just want simple. And I was like, wow. In my head, I was like, well, the more I can give them for the best price, how my brain works, that's the best deal. But that's not how everybody's brain works. And so one of our struggles has been trying to force too many features, feeling like they're getting more value. Now, a lot of people love that, but not everybody loves it, right? Or understands it. So one of our struggles has been, when you have so many features, they have to understand how to use it. If they don't understand how to use it, they'll churn because they just get confused and frustrated versus having one thing. So we have been simplifying and trying to, when you run a SaaS business, it's really hard to be profitable if you overhire on a low ticket subscription, right?
Yeah.
So
you have thin margins.
You have thin margins, and you want to provide, like I'm all about customer service. And as you grow, Wade cannot be on every single call. And they ask for me, and it's like, okay, at this point we have to, put other things in place. And we started, I will tell you that we started not doing one-on-one onboarding and making them go through the process on their own. Bad mistake. Because that is where you get that trust with that one-on-one onboarding. The minute we switched, because I didn't want to put in the effort and have the person do the onboarding, people churned like crazy. I mean, our churn went through the roof.
Yeah. So what about group onboardings? Did you ever try one?
I think that's going to be next. I don't think we're onboarding enough at one time to do that. Yeah. But that is where we're probably going to go next, and trying to do the office hours and leveraging that.
Yeah. I can tell you, from what I understand, the most critical moment of a software user's entry is the first 7 days.
Yeah.
Nothing else matters. So, you've spent hours on Zoom and then offloaded it and made it completely autonomous. What are the things you figured out in making that mistake? How did you recover from it after as well?
We went right back to one-on-one onboardings.
Okay.
And I did, at first I was doing one-on-one Zooms on sales demos. And as people that are experienced hearing this, they're like, yep, been there, done that. Now we do the group demos. But I will say that for anybody listening on this, like it's just starting, you have to build that trust with the customer. Like you said, it's not, you can't just start this business, people get on YouTube and they hear all these stories, and
you can't outsource trust.
You can't outsource trust, and you can't, it's not something that you're just gonna, be driving a Lamborghini overnight, or that's not real life. And, or people say that, whatever. So it's like, it takes a lot of work, and you can't automate the whole thing. Now, I'm not saying you can't. There's plenty of successful companies that do it, but at my stage, it'd be too much risk. I still want to build that,
Yeah. So how many customers are you guys at now?
Right at 300.
300. And your gross revenue is around
380 last year. Yep. So
what are you on pace for this year? What's your projections? What are your goals for upcoming year?
We are looking, my goal, because I can't predict where we're going to be, my goal right now is to my goal is $80K a month this year, by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And you gotta have the goal to try to hit,
It makes sense. I mean, you've came from the early days of, perfecting the offer, perfecting the process, kind of perfecting the systems. Now you're at a point of scaling, right?
Yeah.
So,
and learning how to scale,
adding gas to the fire.
Yeah. And having a coach, or having someone, and being in a community of people that have already been in that path. I think for me, I've always been the kind of guy that just figures it out on your own and won't listen, and as you get older, now you're like, gosh, if I could, and I just have this passion now that I'm in my 50s, and I see all these young entrepreneurs, and I just love it. And when I see one that just has that passion and that work ethic, I just want to help them.
Yeah.
Because now at my stage, I'm just like, let's go in business together. Let me help you. Let me, and I think for me, I know I'm jumping a little off topic, but for when I, in probably the next 5 to 7 years, I would like to coach, because that actually fills me.
Yeah. It's a legacy thing,
Yeah.
right? I think your dad instilled the power of someone guiding you. Mm-hmm. So there might be some tendency for you to want to guide someone else.
Yes, I think it's natural.
Yeah, it is natural. Help us understand some big breakthroughs and results that you're proud of with the business. Let's talk about some of the positives with the business. I mean, you guys, such a short time, are crushing it.
I'm not a big awards guy. I've never have been. In the real estate business, you pretty much get an award for coming to the office. So I would say wins for me would be results. Yeah. Seeing customer results, the validation that if they just follow the process in your system, that they get results. That is what drives me. We did, I think the Gold Award, which I'd never thought, I didn't really think anything about that.
You walked the stage, didn't you?
I did not walk the stage.
No, you didn't.
No, I did not walk the stage. But
we got to do it this year.
We're going to do it this year. Yeah, I would love to. Yeah. So yeah, just hitting those milestones, seeing customers happy, validating the product. And I think building a team too, that is, I want to build a team, and I want to build a team of a happy staff and everybody working together for a common goal.
Yeah. Let's do some reflection as we kind of close out. I've got some questions here that our team put together, and I think it's a great thing to kind of go through it together. Looking back, what do you think you misunderstood about growth back then when you first started?
And is this relates to SaaS or just growth in general?
Just in growth as a person, growth as a business, just in general. Like what was some misunderstood things that you had back then?
Knowing that I don't know it all myself and not figuring it out on my own, and to always hang around people that have been there and learn from them, I would say was something that I didn't embrace at an early age.
Yeah, I love it. I'm pretty sure you come across new high levelers, and you're like, oh man, by the type of questions they ask, I know where they are in their journey. Do you ever feel that way?
Yes. And I was more active in the follow-up, the Facebook community. And, when you're on social media and you do see those questions pop up, you have the answer. And I was doing that a lot, because you were like, I know the answer. I can help you. I've been there, So yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Can you speak to those people in general? If you want to look at the camera, can you talk to the person that just, walked away from their 9-to-5 and they just found HighLevel and they're trying to figure out, do I offer one thing? Do I provide this big mammoth of a thing? Like, where do I even start?
Yeah.
Can you speak to those people that are starting out in digital marketing?
Absolutely. So HighLevel offers an unlimited amount of things that you can do. And it's a sea of opportunity, and you just have to figure it out and pick one thing and start with that one thing. There's so much opportunity. You already have a network of community people that find something that you're interested in and use the HighLevel tools and SaaS products they have and go start your business. And I think just whatever you put your passion into and start it, there is a market out there for every product, and you are solving a problem for small businesses. there's a lot of problems to be solved in small businesses. I mean, even for me, I'm trying to stay focused on what we're doing, but there's so much opportunity in the AI space right now, right? And that's growing. So definitely go after the voice AI and the missed call text back and stuff like that, where businesses actually need that. I think that is probably, I mean, y'all have been talking about that for a long time, but that seems to be the lowest hanging fruit. So I will say this, find the pain of the business, give them the solution, and then you can upsell the other features once they get comfortable with the one feature. That's how that's what I'm doing, is leading into it that way.
Yeah, so you have a foot in the door offer, then you expand whoever you choose to work with in a more bigger way or a bigger relationship.
Yeah. And you can also, this is not something that we're doing, but when you get a customer, you can choose to just be SaaS only. They're also going to want to hire you to just done for you. So there's two different revenue streams, that and then
you have the do-it-yourself, the done with you, and the done for you.
Yeah. And that is where we are now pivoting, or I have to make a decision.
Adding on to it.
If we're going to bring on people to actually do those things for you. Yeah. And those would be larger ticket items.
Yeah.
So there's a ton of opportunity out there in HighLevel world for what they've built. I'm just grateful for what they've built and their business model, because it just can, there's so much opportunity and so much growth you can have with the software.
I love it. Wade, my last question that I always love asking everyone is legacy questions. Like, when it's all said and done, when you walk off to the sunset, Wade Lester, what does that look like? What is that world of, the chapter of retirement, or a chapter of, flexibility, or whatever you want to call it? What does that look like for you as we kind of close out?
Well, I don't know that I will ever retire because I have to be moving and doing stuff, but it would be nice to only at some point work only when you want to, or when when you're bored or whatever. So, I think, the goal for me would be to, be in a spot where I can retire and work wherever I want to, and, hopefully have something worth value that I can pass down or sell, or,
have
whatever.
the option.
Yeah, have the option. Yeah. So I'm the kind of guy that just shows up and works hard every day and try to help as many people as I can. I have found that the more people that you help, that is what drives me now. Is trying to help more people and make other people more successful, collaborative.
Yeah. The most important thing that I've learned from this convo so far is you built a massive business with one big feature, the API component. With integration. You essentially put two software systems together and served your customer, and you're crushing it. I mean, that goes to share that, you don't need to use everything inside of HighLevel. Yeah. And you can build a pretty healthy business doing that. So
absolutely. Yeah.
We're excited for you. We appreciate you sharing your story. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, this has been great.
For those of you that have spent some time watching this, we thank you for your time. Hopefully this case study inspires you. We are going to, so as part of this case study, there's a one-page financial report that will be provided. There's also a presentation of Wade's business, and we kind of go through his offers and processes and things like that, all for free to you. So if you're watching it, take advantage of it. But either way, Wade, thank you again. For those of you that are watching, I'll see you on the next case study.